uh, accounting standards related, and financial statement. So, in the examination, when you are asked about what do you mean by financial statement, what are its components, or financial statements are the lifeblood of the investor, elaborate it, यस्तो टाइपको एनालाइटिकल टाइपको क्वेसन आयो भने तपाईले के गर्नु पर्यो भन्दा अकाउन्टिङ स्ट्यान्डर्ड्स रिलेटेड हुँदै हुँदै आएर अकाउन्टिङ स्ट्यान्डर्ड्स अनुसार रुल्स ट्रान्जेक्सनहरू रेकर्ड गरेपछि त्यसको रिपोर्टिङको लागि फाइनेन्शियल स्टेटमेन्ट बनाइन्छ भनेर यसरी कभर गर्दै जाने। अनि फाइनेन्शियल स्टेटमेन्ट आर द फाइनल डकुमेन्ट्स इन प्रोडक्ट अफ द अकाउन्टिङ प्रोसेस and the management prepare or BODs prepare the financial statement to share the financial status, operating status of the company towards the different stakeholders भन्दै जाने। अनि different financial statements are prepared like यो भन्दै जाने हैन। अनि जस्तो income statement, return earning, balance sheet, cash flow statement, statement of changes in owner's equity भन्दै जाने हो। And त्यसपछि according to NFRS, according to or after adoption of NFRS, different other financial statements are also prepared. They are statement of जुन मैले अस्ति नबिल ब्याङ्कको देखाएको थिएँ नि एउटा नबिल ब्याङ्कको फाइनेन्शियल स्टेटमेन्ट के थियो, स्टेटमेन्ट एज पर or after adoption of NFRS, companies should prepare the different financial statement like statement of financial position, similarly statement of profit or loss, income statement नभनिकन statement of profit or loss, statement of comprehensive income जुन अस्ति मैले देखाएको थिएँ त्यो चाहिँ विचार गर्नु होला, नबिर्सिनु होला, and statement of cash flow, statement of changes in owner's equity, statement of distribution of profit into dividend and reserve. So different types of financial statements are prepared before adoption of NFRS, after adoption of NFRS भनेर यसरी पनि भन्नु पर्यो है त। यो थ्योरेटिकल पार्ट भयो। त्यसैले सर्ट क्वेसन त आयो तपाईको हैन, ग्रुप सी मा त कम्पल्सरीली आइहाल्छ। लङ एन्सर क्वेसनमा चाहिँ तपाईको एनालाइटिकल टाइपको म एक दुईवटा क्वेसन पछि होमवर्कमा अपलोड गर्दिउँला, त्यस्तो टाइपको हेर्नु होला भनेको। तपाईले फाइनेन्शियल स्टेटमेन्टलाई मा बेस मानेर लेख्नु पर्ने कि व्हाट डु यु मिन बाइ फाइनेन्शियल स्टेटमेन्ट नै डाइरेक्ट नसोधिकन फाइनेन्शियल स्टेटमेन्टसँग रिलेटेड फाइनेन्शियल स्टेटमेन्ट बेस फर decision making, financial statements are controlling, financial statements are the tools for controlling and analysis, and managerial for managerial tools of managerial decision, elaborate it, such type of question will be asked in the theoretical. त्यसो तपाईलाई अब what is financial statement मात्र यसरी सोधिदिए त सजिलो भइहाल्यो। त्यस्तो एनालाइटिकल टाइपको क्वेसन लेख्दा नि तपाईले फाइनेन्शियल स्टेटमेन्ट, components, objectives, and as per NAS, as per IAS or NFRS, what are the provisions, के गरिन्छ, के बनाइन्छ, अनि and similarly you should link up with the disclosures with accounting policy and notes। जुन मैले तपाईलाई नबिल ब्याङ्कको एउटा फाइनेन्शियल स्टेटमेन्ट देखाएको थिएँ त्यो बेसमा मानेर तपाईले लेख्नु पर्यो। ल now next is shall we start the next topic of financial statement, and we studied the financial statements and components of financial statement. Now here in this semester basically we are focusing as per our syllabus financial statement before adoption of NFRS, but in fourth semester the students who are in specialized accounting group, they will learn after adoption of financial statement also. Therefore here we study the financial statement which are same, only the names and way of presentation of financial statement are different. Now preparation of financial statement, and are you ready with copy pen हरु चाहियो, क्याल्कुलेटर चाहियो है।
सरको म्युट छ सर।
ए होइन यहाँ भयो, यहाँ स्लाइड देखाउनलाई अर्को स्लाइड खोज्दै थिएँ कि म, भनेको तपाईँलाई फाइनेन्सियल स्टेटमेन्ट अस्तिको देखाइदिएको छु कि भनेर। ल, फाइनेन्सियल स्टेटमेन्ट तपाईँले डाउनलोड गर्नुभयो होला अथवा हार्ड कपी पनि लिइराख्नु है, डाउनलोड मात्रै भन्दा पनि। फाइनेन्सियल स्टेटमेन्ट एनुअल रिपोर्ट के, अनि त्यसमा नै तपाईँले मैले अस्ति देखिसकेँ नि त, बुक पढिरहनै पर्दैन कि त्यसको लागि। एनएफआरएस बेसको फाइनेन्सियल स्टेटमेन्ट डिफाइन गर्नु पर्यो, तपाईँलाई एनालाइटिकल कुरा लेख्नु पर्यो भने त्यो फाइनेन्सियल एनुअल रिपोर्ट अथवा कुनै पनि कम्पनीको एनुअल रिपोर्ट डाउनलोड गरेर तपाईँले लिनुभयो भने त्यसमा सर पल्टाउँदा पनि पेज याद हुन्छ कि तपाईँलाई, कन्टेन्ट याद हुन्छ। त्यो एउटा लिइराख्नु, अहिले सम्भव नभए चाहिँ अहिले नेटबाटै डाउनलोड गरेर लिइराख्नु होला। ओके, द्याट्स अल. Now we completed in the previous day basic components of financial statement or basic components of financial reporting system. In financial reporting system, there are basic two statements used. One is financial statement, another is statement of disclosures or disclosure practices or disclosure for accounting policy and notes. And under basic financial components, the different types of financial statements are prepared. Balance sheet, income statement, return earning, statement of return earning, cash flow statement. They will all we will study all these in third semester. And first we are going to study in this chapter. We are going to study financial statement, basically income statement, statement of return earning, and balance sheet. And cash flow will be studied in the separate chapter. Now, different financial statement, preparation of financial statement. One of them is income statement. Income statement, all of you know income statement which is prepared to determine the income. So income means here you keep it in mind, net income. Net income is calculated deducting expenses from the revenue or deducting the sum of expenses, total expenses from the revenue. Therefore, there are two ways of preparing the financial statement, and normally the first step or first format is not asked, and second format is asked. Therefore, we are theoretically studying here, and any company does not have the practice of preparing the first format here, which you have seen. So the first format is there are two ways of preparing the income statement. The first one is single step format and another is multi-step format. And all the companies prepare the multi-step format to prepare they use the multi-step format to prepare the income statement. So in the annual report also we see the multi-step format for the preparation of income statement. So theoretically we must have the knowledge of preparing the financial statement. Some of you are from DBA. At that time, you study about the single step format and another multi-step format. You have seen either you prepared or not, but multi-step format you have seen in the bachelor level in different. Similarly, in the income statement under absorption and variable costing, you also studied in the second semester. So step wise you have prepared the income statement. That format is multi-step format. So now first is we are going to discuss the single step income statement. Under single step income statement, first of all we calculate the total revenue, or we write all the revenues, either sales revenue and other indirect incomes. All these incomes are total, and the total expenses are deducted from the total income to find out the net income. So it is very easy to prepare. So normally it will not be asked. Net income is determined by subtracting the total expenses from the total income. So how much is the cost of goods sold, how the cost of goods sold is calculated, and what are the different office and administrative expenses, what are the selling and distribution expenses. They are not necessary to classify. So such step normally the students haven't seen in the income in the annual report. Therefore we are focusing here. Now single step format of single step income statement. If it is necessary, you write down. Okay, you write down for your practice. It is necessary. All of you write down company. Dot company income statement. In bracket, you need to write single step when you are asked in the examination. And if you are asked the multi-step income statement, or if you are asked only the income statement, at that time better to prepare the multi-step income statement in the examination. Examमा चाहिँ multi-step बनाउनु पर्छ हामीले कि त if it is specified as prepare the single step, at that time only we prepare the single step income statement, otherwise we prepare multi-step income statement. So under single step income statement you have seen sales and other revenue, rent received, interest received, commission received, whatever the income received, they are added with the sales, and total sales is written in the second amount column. And less expenses, all type of expenses are deducted, like cost of goods sold, office expenses, selling expenses, finance expense, interest, tax, and any other losses, other expenses and losses remain, they all are added in the amount column and deducted from the total revenue. Therefore total expense is determined and we deduct the total expenses from the total income to find out the net income before tax. And if there is net income determined, we deduct the income tax expense or provision for tax. If there is net loss determined, the tax will not be given or will not be charged in the examination. Suppose you be careful, कहिलेकाहीँ के हुन्छ आन्सर ननिकालिकन क्वेसन बनाएर तपाईलाई दिएको रहेछ भने when you determine the net loss निकाल्नु भयो भने नेट लस आएछ भन्यो भने लेस प्रोभिजन फर ट्याक्स गर्नु परेन, नेट इन्कमै छोडिदिनुस्, नेट इन्कम अनि ट्याक्स चार्ज गर्नै परेन हैन. when company earns the profit, then company should have the provision for the payment of tax. Therefore less provision for tax is essential, otherwise not necessary. Then we calculate the net income after tax. It is quite easier and simple because all revenues are calculated first as total revenue, and all revenues are presented first to calculate the total revenue. Then we deduct all expenses, even cost of goods sold, office expense, selling expense, income, whatever, all expenses are deducted. Okay, you please draw the format. Then we do the exercise under the single step income statement. If you finish, please inform me. Then we will move to the example 1. You need this format to do the exercise. Therefore, better to copy the format. सक्नुभयो
छैन सर गरिरा
ल ठिकै छ त्यसलाई सार्नु टोटल एक्सपेन्स आइसकेपछि यसलाई बी नम्बर लगाइदिनु अनि टोटल रेभेन्यूलाई ए लगाइदिनु एबाट बी सब्ट्र्याक्ट गर्नुहोस् नेट इन्कम आइहाल्यो नेट इन्कम मिन्स नेट इन्कम बिफोर ट्याक्स फर्स्ट देन इफ ट्याक्स इज गिभन वी डिडक्ट द ट्याक्स उताको सातदेखि 9 आज
Excuse me, sir.
yes please
सर मार्केटमा नि 2020 को बुकहरु अवेलेबल छैन 2019 को मात्रै छ त्यही युज गर्दा हुन्छ कि केही चेन्जेसहरु आउने हो गरेर अर्को लिनु
yes you can no changes there I have seen yesterday no changes there and new book will be also published
okay sir
did you finish deduct all expenses
yes,
all expenses then net income less before provision for tax then net profit after tax now the example this is the example and you are given this is the example of service company right service revenue is given therefore this is the example of service revenue now how the income statement is prepared in the service revenue that is same instead of sales revenue we write there service revenue therefore the format is same first you listen and we discuss then after we do sales revenue and other income if we are given other income we add other income with the service income then we can prepare the income statement by deducting the expenses so service revenue is given 10,600 in 1000 you keep it in mind we should write in 1000 on the top of the format or you can write 10,600 again 1000 3 times 0 and salary expense it is expense advertisement and supplies expense यहाँ एउटा and छोडेको ल ठिकै छ and rent expense rent expenses insurance expenses interest expenses depreciation expenses and other incomes are not given no provision for tax is given therefore we calculate net income before tax only so all of you draw the format advertisement and supplies expense is it necessary to copy the question Sarni
no sir you can take picture also
okay la draw the follows format of this question so first of all you write on the top company income statement and clearly we should inform we should write single step or in bracket single step format or single step income statement or income statement in bracket single step format and for the year ended 31st December 2019 and we are given the final result of summarized information of trial balance which was prepared on 31st December 2019 so we have written on the top 31st December 2019 Hazur.
Sir, please repeat that question once.
Service revenue, salary.
Thank you, sir. Done.
Okay, good. Okay, you draw the format. Okay, here then after you should write on the top in thousand, rupees in thousand. Okay, you write down rupees in thousand, amount rupees, amount rupees, and this rupees is not necessary when we have written on the top amount rupees in thousand. At that time it's not necessary. And revenues, under revenues we are given service revenue is given, then total revenue, and other revenues are not given, therefore we write total revenues. Then less expenses or expenses only, because we deduct B, total of B from the total of A, therefore it's not necessary to write less, or you can write less and not necessary to write A and A minus B or AB, or you can write like this, expenses, and all the expenses are summarized here. Salary expense, advertising expense, supplies expense, rent expense, insurance expense, interest expense, etc. Write down their amounts from the question. Amount rupees and service revenue is 10,600. You have written already on the top in thousand. Then after expenses, salary expense is 5,200, advertisement and supply expense rupees 1,500, and rent 900, insurance 50 rupees, interest 50 rupees, and depreciation 40 rupees. And 40 rupees means 40,000 in thousand data. All the data are given in thousand, therefore, and the sum of expenses or total expenses is 7,750, and you deduct 10,600 minus 7,720, it is 2,860. That is net income before tax, but we are not given here, not given for tax rate, therefore we do not have less provision for tax, or less income tax is not compulsory.
Suslaila alini fili सार्दिनु
ढिलो
लेफ्ट तिर अलि सार्दिनु न छेक्यो
के हैन
थ्यांक यू सर
क्वेसन नि अब आफै बनाउन नि मिल्यो नि त यदि क्वेसन सार्नु भएन भने नि सर्भिस रेभेन्यू इज गिभन 10,600 and other incomes are not given, therefore total revenue is 10,600 त्यति नै हुने भयो टोटल रेभेन्यू पनि है त 10,600 नै हुने भयो
Excuse me, sir. Sir, what does it mean single step format? That single step.
Single step भनेको के भयो इन्कम स्टेटमेन्ट which is prepared in the single ways without classifying the income and expenses and there are several expenses heading for office and administration, selling and distribution, and different other non-operating income, non-operating expenses. They are not classified. Simply, the total expenses are deducted from the total income directly, so it is called single step. Under single step, no any expenses are further classified into operating, non-operating, and operating. Under operating, there is no also further classification of office and administration, selling and distribution. No classifications are presented, only total expenses are deducted from the total income under the single step format. So under single step format, total expenses are directly deducted from the total income without classifying operating income, operating expense, non-operating income, non-operating. कुनै पनि क्लासिफाई नगरिकन टोटल एक्सपेन्सलाई घटाइदिने इन्कमबाट फर इक्जाम्पल salary, supplies expenses are the office expenses, rent expenses are office expenses, insurance expenses are office expenses, depreciation is also office expense, advertisement is selling expense, but how much is the total office expense, how much is the total selling expense, and interest is non-operating expense, financing cost, and they are not classified here. They are directly deducted from the total revenue. Total revenue बाट total expense घटाउनु single step format भयो भनेको without classifying. So we are going to discuss the multi-step income statement. Single step भने के रहेछ त भन्दा preparation of income statement showing the total expenses or deducting the total expenses from the total income to find out the net income, to determine the net income without classifying the incomes into operating income and non-operating income, and without classifying the expenses without showing operating expense and non-operating expense, without showing financing expenses. त्यसै नछुट्याइकन डाइरेक्टली इन्कमबाट एक्सपेन्स घटाउनु चाहिँ सिंगल स्टेप फर्मेट भयो. क्लियर?
Yes, sir. Got it, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Class of, do you have book? Problem 2.1, page number 61.
No, sir. We haven't, sir. I haven't, sir. Okay.
Yes, you have. And how to prepare? Okay, for that I have added here one question. So all of you write down 2.1 exercise. All of you write down exercise problem 2.1, page number 61. Page number 61, problem 2.1. And I have taken the photo and added here. This is income statement, and it is again, all of you look at here, it is again the income statement of service business, right? Vivek Enterprises, and we are given service revenue. It is the income generated from rendering services by the service entity. Therefore, service revenue is given, and we are not given, and just we are studying the single step format. Therefore, I am giving you this question for the practice. Compute the net income for the year ended December 31st, 2017 using standard format. So single step is also standard format, multi-step is standard format, and I had told you when it is specified in the question as single step and multi-step, at that time you follow as per that single step and multi-step. If you are not specified in the examination for single and multi-step, you always must follow the multi-step income statement. So multi-step income format, and we haven't studied, therefore we are practicing now single step income statement format. Now in the examination you should do, if you are given this question, you should follow the multi-step format that we haven't studied, therefore I am not talking about that format. Now we are going to prepare the income statement under single step, therefore all of you write down on the top of format, and it is not necessary to copy the question. It is available in the book, or you can take the photo or screenshot. And the trial balance of Vivek company is given. So on the top of format, you write down Vivek Enterprises income statement in bracket single step format. Income statement in bracket, you write down single step format, or you can write single step income statement directly. Single step income statement, or income statement in bracket single step format, and it is prepared for the period. It is prepared for the period ended. Therefore, we write for the year ended December 31st, 2017. Then you know the format, particular amount. And all of you look at here, service revenue is income that we write at the beginning. Supplies expense, it is also expense. And under single entry, single step format, we do not classify which are office expense, which are selling expense. So it is not difficult. Therefore, are they income or expenses? That should be identified. Wage expense, rent expense, utility expense, advertisement expense, general and administrative expense, interest expense, and gain on sale of equipment is gain or income. It is the income, so we should add with the service revenue to find out the total income. And extraordinary loss, they are non-operating expenses or loss that can be loss from discontinue of business operation, or loss from natural calamities, loss from accident, loss from stolen. These are extraordinary type of losses. So we are given directly the amount, and in this question we are given income tax expenses 40%. So all of you, please you draw the format. Company, in that company you write down name of company, Vivek Enterprises. So all of you write down Vivek Enterprises. Vivek Enterprises. Vivek Enterprises. And you can write single step income statement or income statement single step format, and the date is December 31st, 2017. Right? I have copied the format from the previous slide, therefore it is 19 I have written, so write down 17. And service revenue, and in this format you should write another is gain. Gain is also given, GAIN, gain on what was this? Gain on sale of equipment. So you write down gain on sale of equipment, gain on equipment, and write down total revenue. So under single step format, we do not show separately non-operating income. Gain on sale of equipment is not the operating income, and we write separately. So this is and depreciation. So I have written the same previous format. So we do together. Okay. Okay.
सर यो कुन पब्लिकेसनको बुक होला सर?
अस्मिता पब्लिकेसन भनेको फर्स्टमा आउनु थिएन?
थिएन सर।
ए ल अस्मिता पब्लिकेसन के क्वेशन हो यो? ल त्यहीको फोटो खिचेर अनि राखिदिएको हो। ल क्वेशनमा हेर्नुस् है, supplies expense, wage expense, rent expense, utility expense are given. Service revenue and gain on sale of equipment are given. So we write first these two. So all of you write down service revenue 11 lakh rupees and gain on sale of equipment 50,000. So you write down service revenue 11 lakh rupees, 11 lakh rupees, and in next line gain 50,000 rupees. So how much is the total revenue? 11,50,000. 11,50,000 is the total revenue. So you write down total revenue 11,50,000. Can you see? Have you seen this?
Yes, sir.
11,50,000. And don't copy these expenses because I have copied from the question number 1 or previous example. Therefore, now total revenue is 11,50,000. And all of you look at the question. Supplies expense 80,000, wage expenses 6,60,000. Supplies expense 80,000. All of you write down SUPPLIS. Expenses. Supplies expenses rupees is 80,000, and wage expenses 6,60,000. 6,60,000 is expense. These expenses are simply to write wage expense 6,60,000. I'm writing. Another is rent expense is 70,000, utility 40,000. Rent expense. That is utility expense. Expense. Utility expense. 40,000 and 40,000. Write down 70,000 and 1,000. 70,000 and 40,000. And after you write down advertisement.
80,000.
It's rupees 80,000. It's rupees 80,000. Okay. Then you write down general and
Administrative expenses.
general and administrative expense 20,000. Then interest expense
15,000.
20,000. That is 15,000. What is that? 15,000. Interest expense is 15,000. Gain on sale we have written 15,000. Interest expense and extraordinary 40,000. Interest expense. $15,000 and extraordinary loss. Extraordinary loss. 40,000. All of you take the sum. Extraordinary loss is 40,000. Then 40% is the tax rate. All of you take the sum. P number. How much is the sum? 6 lakh, 7 lakh 40, 8 lakh 10,000, 8 lakh 50,000, 9 lakh 30,000,
10 lakh
9 lakh 50,000,
10
10 lakh
lakhs 50,000.
9 lakh 50,
10
9
lakh
lakh
10 lakh
10
5,000.
lakh.
10 lakh 5,000.
Okay, 10 lakh 5,000 or 9 lakh 95.
10 lakh 5,000.
Okay.
No, sir, 10 lakhs 5,000.
10 lakh
Okay.
5,000.
Okay. All of you deduct the sum of A and sum of B.
One lakh 45,000.
1,45,000. 1,45,000. Now deduct the 40% tax. Less provision for tax or less, better to write income tax expense. Less income tax expense.
$87,000, sir.
From whose microphone we are feeling the disturbance here? I am just checking, but not seen here. I have muted, but he forgot mute again after unmute. Again he unmuted. And okay, Suman, you have there some disturbance from your microphone. Please
No,
mute.
sir, just now I unmute to tell the answer 87,000.
Okay, but from where we have filled here disturbances. Okay. Okay, good, Suman. And it is 40%. So how much is the value you said? How much is the value you said?
87,000, sir.
87.
Net income.
87. Net income? I'm asking you
Yes,
tax.
sir, net income.
Tax.
No, net income after
68,000.
deducting that 40%.
Tax expenses 68,000.
68.
58.
58,000. It is net income before tax.
57,000.
Net income after tax. After deducting the income tax from the before tax, then it is after tax. Okay. In this way, we prepare the single step format without classifying the income into operating and non-operating, without classifying the expenses into operating, non-operating, and financing. Operating, non-operating भनेर classify गरिरहनु पर्दैन. Directly, we take the sum of income and deduct all type of expenses, either they are office expense or extraordinary losses or non-operating or operating income, operating expenses. We take the sum of all these and deduct directly. Okay, and now next is multi-step income statement. Multi-step income statement. A multi-step income statement is a type or is a different way of preparing income statement, under which all incomes and expenses should be categorized into operating and non-operating groups. So operating and similarly expenses should be also categorized into operating expense and non-operating expenses. So multi-step income statement is more preferable and which discloses the complete information to the users. So under multi-step income statement, net profit or net income is calculated step by step. So first we calculate the gross profit, then we calculate the business income or operating profit, or income from the operations by deducting the operating expenses. Then we deduct other extraordinary expenses, and we add other extraordinary incomes or non-operating income. Then after, only net profit before tax will be calculated stepwise. Therefore, it is very lengthy process and more time consuming to prepare. Therefore, it is tedious, and but it shows the complete information, it communicates the complete information. Therefore, it is better to prepare under the multi-step income statement. So in the examination also, I have already told you, when it is not specified single step or multi-step, at that time you should follow the multi-step, because it is the common practice. So I had already told you, when you have downloaded the annual report of any company, or you have got the annual report in the manual form, in such condition you can see their multi-step income. When the companies are preparing multi-step income statement, and why we are preparing separately in the examination, we are using single step. Here, according to syllabus, we are just studying the ways of preparing the income statement in the single step format and multi-step format. So just we are studying for conceptual part only. Now, format of multi-step income statement. And same thing we write here on the top, multi-step income statement. And all of you have seen here, under multi-step income statement, first of all, gross profit is calculated, deducting the cost of goods sold from the net sales. Our sales revenue net of return means, if you are given return, you should deduct sales revenue less return and net sales. We should calculate net sales if given in the question. Then we deduct the cost of goods sold to find out the net profit. Just a minute, please. You listen first, then after you write. Wait. And we have other expenses also, not finished this much only. So less operating expenses. After calculating the gross profit by deducting cost of goods sold, all of you know, and you studied in second semester also. I had taught you, and your teacher also taught you in management accounting, how to find out the gross profit, sales minus cost of goods sold, and how to find out cost of goods sold in manufacturing company and non-manufacturing company. I had taught you in the class. मेरो क्लासमा चाहिँ मैले भनेको थिएँ तपाईहरुलाई, म्यानुफ्याक्चरिङ कम्पनीमा हो भने कसरी निकालिन्छ र उसमा हो भने ट्रेडिङमा हो भने कसरी निकालिन्छ भनेको थिएँ. बट वी स्टडीड द income statement under absorption and variable costing in manufacturing company. हामीले म्यानुफ्याक्चरिङको चाहिँ पढिसकेका छौँ त्यहाँ. त्यतिखेर के गर्यौं, सेल्स माइनस प्रोडक्ट कस्ट, sales minus cost of goods sold, and cost of goods sold is calculated with the sum of product cost plus opening stock and minus closing stock भनेर हामीले त्यसरी पढेका थियौं. भनेपछि प्रोडक्ट कस्ट निकाल्नु पर्छ भनेर पढेका थियौं. बट इन ट्रेडिङ कम्पनी देयर इज नो प्रोडक्ट कस्ट, बिकज द ट्रेडिङ कम्पनी does not produce and does not have the product cost. So product cost plus opening minus closing. So it is not possible in the trading company. That we studied in the management accounting in the case of manufacturing company. Another, less operating expenses. Look at here, we didn't directly calculate the net income here. Step-wise, we are going to calculate the net income under multi-step format. First, we calculate the gross profit, deducting the cost of goods sold from the net sales. In the previous format also, there is gross profit. But we didn't deduct the gross profit separately to find out the cost of goods sold. In the previous format, there is cost of goods sold, but we didn't deduct the cost of goods sold from the total revenue to find out the gross profit. Under single step, we do not calculate the gross profit. We calculate the directly net income. We calculate directly the net income by deducting all type of expenses from the revenue under single step. But under multi-step income statement, we do not directly calculate the net income deducting from the expenses. So first we determine the gross profit. The gross profit is also the part of profit. So step-wise or step by step, we calculate the net profit. First we calculate the gross profit, which part of profit, deducting cost of goods sold from the revenue, sales revenue. Salesबाट हामीले cost of goods sold घटाउँछौँ अनि निकाल्छौँ है त. Then less operating expenses, and operating expenses includes two types of operating expenses. They are called indirect expenses also. Direct expenses are included in the cost of goods sold, and indirect expenses are office related, selling related expenses are called indirect expenses, and these indirect expenses are called operating expenses. Expenses which are incurred for day-to-day operations of the organization, day-to-day operation of the business activities, day-to-day operation of own activities, they are called operating expenses, which can be further classified into two groups as general and administrative expenses and selling and distribution expenses. In this way, all the expenses are not categorized into same heading as expenses. We do not write as less expense. We write less operating expense, less non-operating expense. And under operating expenses, there are two types of expenses: general and administrative expense and selling and distribution expense. Therefore, all office related expenses are called general and administrative expenses. So they are depreciation on building or depreciation on office furniture, amortization of trademark, copyright, and other intangibles, salary, wages, salary and wages. It's not the manufacturing company, therefore wage is not included in the cost of goods sold. Keep it in mind. In manufacturing company, wage is included in the cost of goods sold, because first we calculate the product cost, manufacturing cost, then we add opening, then we deduct closing, then we find out the cost of goods sold. But it is the case of trading company, sales revenue and cost of goods sold in non-trading, non-manufacturing or trading company. So we write here salary and wage under the operating expense heading, insurance expense, supplies expense, office expense, rent expense, printing and stationery expense, depreciation on store or furnitures, store furniture, other office related expenses. Those expenses which are paid by the office, they are office expenses. So you then take the sum of general and administrative expenses and you write down A. Just like A लेख्नु होला. This is total general and administrative expenses. So plus first you write down step wise. We didn't calculate the net profit now. यतिमा त अघिको फर्मुला त एक पेजमा त हाम्रो net profit निक्लिएको थियो. But we do not calculate the net profit directly. Net profit is calculated deducting the expenses from revenue, total revenue, by classifying the revenues and expenses into different headings. So first we calculate the gross profit, deducting the cost of goods sold from the sales. Then after we deduct the operating expenses, under which first we deduct the office and administrative expense. ल पहिले यसलाई total administrative expense निकाल्नुस् and we move to next slide. If you finish, please you inform me, then we will talk about the selling expenses. Then after only net income from operation or operation income or operating profit is calculated, that we discuss. Did you finish? Finished?
Yes, sir, finished. Please go ahead.
Okay, now selling and distribution. Okay, next heading selling and distribution expenses. And under selling and distribution expenses, all the expenses which are incurred for selling and distribution, selling of goods and distribution to different users or different consumers, these are included in the selling and distribution expenses, like say advertisement, salary, salesman commission, sales manager salary, rent of showroom, etc. Okay, then we determine the total selling and distribution expenses. Then till now we haven't calculated the sales net profit. Therefore, it is multi-step. After calculating total selling expenses, we add the office and total office and selling expenses, which is called total operating expenses, which is total operating expense. A plus B, total operating expenses. Then we calculate operating income, operating profit, income from operation, whatever we calculate. Take the sum of office and selling expenses as total operating expense. Total operating expense. So you write down total operating expense.
So slide go, sir.
आउँछ ल total selling expenses you calculated, like all selling related expense है, carries outward means carries on sales, salesman related, showroom related, similarly sales department related, advertisement, publicity, promotion, and salesman related. All these expenses are selling expenses, and some of them is total selling and distribution expenses, and total office and administrative expense is denoted by A, and total selling and distribution expense is denoted by B, and A plus B is called operating expense. When we deduct the total operating expenses from the gross profit. We calculated gross profit in the gross profit. Then when we deduct from the gross profit, this is gross profit, and from this gross profit, when we deduct the total operating expenses, this is called operating income, operating net income. This is operating net income, or operating income, or income from operation. So in bracket, it is not compulsory to write in the examination, but you need to write in the format. So operating income. So first of all, we calculate gross profit, then we calculate operating profit, deducting total operating expenses from the total gross profit. Therefore, here under multi-step income statement, we classify the income income into operating and non-operating. This here we have recorded only sales income, and operating cost of goods sold is also operating expense. Then we calculated gross profit, and other operating expenses are deducted from the gross profit to find out the operating income. In this way, step by step, we calculate the profit under the multi-step, or calculate the profit from the income statement, which is multi-step format of income statement. Then we deduct other income and gains, which are called non-operating income, which are not the business income. So, for example, interest is not received, or interest is not the income earned from the business operation. It is received from the additional investment in the bank and other financial institution. Dividend received, it is not received from the business operation. It is received from other investment activities into different other business. And rent and commission received, or rent and commission income, are the income received from the different other business activities. And sometimes commission only given, at that time commission can be written in the operating income, but we need to classify as other operating income after income from operation. So better to write in other income and revenues heading. And gain on sale of machine, furniture, vehicle, etc. In the previous question, there was gain on sale of equipment. That gain on sale of equipment was added there with the service revenue directly to find out the total income. But under multi-step format, income gain from sale of income, or gain on sale of assets, or any type of asset, equipment, furniture, machine, they are added in a separate heading of other revenues and gain. Then we calculate the total income. I mean income from operating or operating income, and we add these two total other I have written here on the left corner. So it is total operating profit, total profit, or total profit of the company, and this is total profit of the company. Then we deduct other expenses and losses, very simply non-operating expenses called interest, financing expense, and non-operating expenses like interest expenses and loss on disposal of assets. That means gain on sale of assets here, and loss on disposal, or loss on sale or disposal of assets. And take the sum of this, and you deduct from the income. I have colored by here blue color, light blue color, so they are added and they are deducted, and at the end net income before tax is calculated. In this way, stepwise net income before tax net income before tax or net income after tax, that is calculated stepwise, so under the multi-step format. Under the multi-step format.
Net income before tax.
Okay, please you write down. Then we talk net profit after tax. Then we talk the example.
सर
Sure.
यो ग्रोस प्रफिट भन्दा तल ग्रोस प्रफिट निकाल्यो नि अघि हामीले त्यो भन्दा तल चाहिँ एड अदर रेभेन्यू एन्ड गेन गर्दा मिल्छ मिल्दैन
मिल्छ मिल्छ
हजुर,
तर
यो
other-
तल
you practice this one in the BBS as other gain and revenues from the business operation like commission receipt. त्यो कमिसनहरुको लागि हो अनि त्यो गरे अनि अदर नन अपरेटिङ इन्कम्स क्यान नट बी इन्क्लुडेड देयर. त्यहाँ त नन अपरेटिङ राख्नै पाइँदैन. पहिला अपरेटिङको काम सकेर नन अपरेटिङ गर्ने हो. Therefore,
ए हजुर
non-operating income should be deducted, added at the end after calculation of operating profit. यो अपरेटिङ प्रफिट अर इन्कम फ्रम अपरेसन निकालेपछि नै जोड्नु पर्ने हो. भने त्यहाँ पनि राख्ने यहाँ पनि राख्ने गरेर दुईचोटि लामो हुन्छ तपाईहरुलाई. त्यही भएर अदर इन्कम भनेर यहाँ राखिदिने. अब तपाई त्यहाँ माथि after gross profit when you want to add here, after gross profit when you want to add other income, that is other business income. Rent is not the business income. Commission may be. कमिसन इन्कम हुन सक्छ बरु हो. त्यो कमिसन इन्कम लेख्न चाहिँ मिल्यो. तर त्यहाँ इन्कम एउटा लेख्ने एउटा पोइन्टको लागि त्यहाँ अर्को हेडिङ बनाउनुस् अनि फेरि यहाँ ल्याएर अर्को अदर नन अपरेटिङ. एट दैट टाइम यु शुड राइट हियर एड नन अपरेटिङ इन्कम. यहाँनिर चाहिँ तपाईले नन अपरेटिङ इन्कम भनेर लेख्नुपर्छ. त्यो गरेर लामो लामो बनाउनु भनेर तपाईँ किन स्टुडेन्ट पर्सपेक्टिभले भन्दा अदर इन्कम्स भनेर लेखिदिनु भयो भने कमिसन पनि आयो. यहाँदेखि हेल्नुभयो कमिसन रेभेन्यू पनि आयो, रेन्ट रेभेन्यू आयो, डिभिडेन्ड रेभेन्यू, इन्ट्रेस्ट रेभेन्यू, अपरेटिङ अदर अपरेटिङ एन्ड नन अपरेटिङ इन्कम बोथ क्यान बी कम्बाइन्ड हियर वेन यु हेभ रिटर्न हियर अदर रेभेन्यू. अदर रेभेन्यू भनिदिनु भयो भने त्यो सबै राख्न पाइयो कि. तपाईँले भने जस्तै माथि राख्न नि मिल्छ तर मिल्यो भने त्यो एउटा पोइन्टको लागि भनेर फेरि माथि हेडिङ बनाउनुहोस्. फेरि तल आएर चाहिँ अरू इन्कम राख्नु पर्यो भने चाहिँ अदर नन अपरेटिङ इन्कम भन्नुपर्छ यहाँनिर. फेरि त्यस्तो लामो हुन्छ भनेर मात्रै मैले तपाईँलाई भनेको. यु आर राइट. किन सिएसमा हामीले त्यसरी नै पढ्थ्यौँ पढाउँथ्यौँ.
आई
9 बजे
लट्ठी हान्ने लट्ठी
शेड्युल पाएको हिजो त्यसलाई होइन आज नि छ दिउँसो एक दिन त सधैँ छ. अनि घर जाने
मलाई चाहिँ
हुन्छ ल्याउनु पर्दो रहेछ. Okay, did you finish?
Yes, sir, finished.
All of you, did you finish?
अस्ति सुरु मुम्बई रे उ थियो नि मुम्बई रे कसरी थाहा भएछ
त्यसैले उसले आज अघि बिहानै म त आज आइपिएल हेर्छु भन्थे. हिजो पनि बिहान उठेर भनेको थियो आइपिएल राति दिन्छ रिपिट दिउँसो दिन्छ टिभी बन्द हुन्छ त्यसरी
फिनिश
उहिले माथिकोले भनेर हेर्नु न फ्यान
आफ्नो उमेर हुन्छ नि
फ्यान फ्यान पंखा जस्तो Keep quiet.
चेयरमा यस्तो गरिरहेको छु है यस्तो बसिरहेको छु अनि मुखमा त्यस्तो सुतेर बसिरहेको त्यो नि मान्ने त्यो लुगा किन्नु नभने चाहिँ अनि मलाई
So we calculate net income before tax first, then we deduct the income tax expense or provision for tax, then we find out net income after tax. In this way, net profit or net income is calculated by preparing income statement step by step, showing operating gross profit, operating profit, and classifying the operating income, non-operating income, classifying the operating expense, non-operating expense. Under the operating expenses, classifying into office and administration, selling and distribution. This step of preparing income statement, this format of preparing income statement is known as multi-step income statement. And to some of you, I had already told you how to calculate cost of goods sold, and you are also quite familiar, and you know also how to prepare the income cost of goods sold that you already studied in the previous level, as well as in second semester. I had told you in case of manufacturing company how the cost of goods sold is calculated. In case of non-manufacturing, I mean trading company, how the cost of goods sold is calculated. And you keep it in mind, here we are not studying the income statement of manufacturing company because we studied in the second semester under the management accounting, sales less cost of goods sold, which include product cost plus opening minus closing, then gross profit. Such step, multi-step there in second semester under management accounting. We also use the concept of multi-step, but there we didn't use the term multi-step. Multi-step term was not used there, but here we are studying reporting system, how the financial statement, how can we report the financial statement under single step or multi-step. And I have told you better to prepare and present under the multi-step. And a cost of goods sold can be calculated as you know, open stock plus purchase plus carriage in direct expenses, any other direct expenses that may be transit insurance and load unload charge at the time of purchasing goods, and minus closing stock. And closing stock is not the expense which is included up to purchase. Therefore, we are calculating the cost of the goods which were sold. Therefore, closing stock was not sold. Its cost should be deducted. In this way, cost of goods sold is calculated. And in working note, you can calculate the cost of goods sold and write in the format, or you can show the cost of goods sold, component of cost of goods sold in the format. There is no any problem. That depends upon you. Note भनेर तल प्रेजेन्ट गर्न सक्छ, क्याल्कुलेट गर्न सकिन्छ, लगेर माथि राख्न सकिन्छ. Finished? Did you calculate? Did you write this formula for the calculation of cost of goods sold? And you already studied this one, you know. If you finish, please you inform.
Finish, sir.
Okay, now example, and it's I have already calculated here the net sales, and we can directly write the sales there, or in the format we write the total gross sales less sales return less sales discount, then we present separately. Or sales discount can be included in the selling and distribution overhead, and better to include in the selling and distribution overhead. We can deduct the sales discount and allowance. Sometimes we will be given sales discount and allowance that will be deducted from the gross sales to find out the net sales. Or sales discount is the discount during the selling of goods, so it is the loss or expenses of selling, so you can write in the selling and distribution. So my strong recommendation to you to present the sales discount in the selling and distribution. Selling and distribution ma lahar rakhda pani huncha hai ta. This is the question I have not included the selling and sales discount in selling and distribution, but you can include because I have already deducted here. मैले यहाँ घटाइदिएको छु तर तपाईले गर्दा चाहिँ त्यसमै राखेर गर्दा चाहिँ राम्रो. जस्तो फर एक्जाम्पल यो सेल्स डिस्काउन्टलाई यहाँ हटाइदिएर नेट you find out the net sales after deducting only sales return. Sales return मात्रै घटाएर गर्दा नि हुन्छ है. Or you can show gross sales minus sales less sales return in the format मै देखाउनु भए पनि हुन्छ. Or in working note भनेर तपाईले क्याल्कुलेट गरेर तल देखाउन पनि सक्नुहुन्छ यसरी note. Okay. This depends upon you. And another, the following information, you are given the following information relating to the different financial summary of a company, and we are not given the date, so we write at the end of the December, 31st December, or for the period of 31st December. And you have seen sales is 4,80,000, and I have already told you sales discount is better to include in the selling and distribution overhead. Selling and distribution overhead. And administrative expense, it is office overhead. Depreciation expense, it is under which heading it does it fall? Operating expense, non-operating expense. Under operating, office or selling, under which it falls? Under which it falls? Right. Another.
General office administrative answer. General administrative.
Yes. Simply we say here office expenses or office and administrative expense or general and administrative expenses, and it is written in office and administrative overhead. This is also office and administrative overhead. And insurance of warehouse is not given, so it is also office and administrative overhead. Gain on sale, it is
other.
Yes,
income.
other income, other revenue or non-operating income. Non-operating income included in other revenues. And loss on disposal, it is also non-operating or other expenses at the end before finding the net income before tax. Advertising, it is selling and distribution expenses. Sales return and allowance, we deduct already this to find out the net sales निकाल्नलाई राख्ने हो. This is finished already. We show in the working note, or we deduct from the sales in the income statement. Another, salary, office and administration or general and administration. And utilities, electricity, communication charge and fuel, gases, etc., water charges, etc. are the utilities. Where does this fall? General and administrative, or it is simply called office and administrative. Carriers outward. What is carriers outward means? Carriers means transportation charge, transportation paid for selling of goods, which is called carriers outward. So where does it fall?
Selling and distribution.
Selling and distribution. Interest on
Other income. Other revenue.
Other income or non-operating income. Non-operating लेखिरहेको छु मैले. Other operating income or non-operating income. Either non-operating income. Another is interest paid.
Non-operating expense.
Non-operating expense or the other expense. Income tax, you know, the amount of income tax is given, not percentage not given, and cost of goods sold is given, which is deducted at the beginning to find out the cost of goods sold is given. Just a minute, cost of goods sold is given, not necessary to find out here, because open stock, purchase, similarly carriage, if you are given, and closing stock given, at that time we deduct closing stock from that and we find out the cost of goods sold. But we are given here cost of goods sold, so no problem. So, and we discussed the question, so all of you draw the format for this question for this example, all of you write down on the top income statement, and the year is not given, so you can write 31st December or for the year ... And multi-step income statement, you net sales given, we calculate the sales, then after cost of goods sold we deduct, then we get the gross profit, and some of the expenses are given and they are not the expenses of this question. So this is the simply the format only, format मात्रै हो, त्यसैले यसमा ल है त, यसमा not given, I think I have copied from the previous question. Depreciation given, administrative expense given, salary given, okay, administrative expense given, utility expense given, depreciation given, insurance given. See, this is insurance given. Okay, I have written all these headings, and total general and administrative expense. Then under selling expenses, selling and distribution expenses, selling and distribution expenses, selling and distribution expenses, under which here are only two expenses given, advertisement and carriage. Then we calculate total selling and distribution expenses. Selling and distribution expenses. Then we add A and B, then we get the total. You calculate the first you write down these headings, then we write the amount. You write down these headings, which we already discussed, then we write the amount. हेलो सर, मैले हटाइदिइसकेको छु है। त्यो 9 देखि 10 रहेछ हैन? हैन, त्यही मैले हटाइदिइसकेँ छु। हजुर, हटाइदिइसकेको थिएँ हैन र? छ र हेर्नु त। त्यो हैन, हटाइदिइसकेँ मैले, अकरेन्स भएर हटाइदिइसकेँ। सेरी चाहिँ हटाइदिइसकेको छु, हेर्नु त त्यही नि। ल हस् हस्। Okay, up to operating expense, please you write down. Next is next format. Yeah, up to operating expense. Look at here. Net sales. We are given. We have calculated net sales in the working note 4,60,000, right? Sorry, 4,68,000. Let me show. 4,68,000. We calculated here 4,68,000. Sales return. Net sales equals to gross sales minus sales return. 4,80,000 minus 12,000, it is 4,68,000. So you write down net sales 4,68,000. 4,68,000.
सेल्स डिस्काउन्ट पनि छ नि त्यहाँ
And salary, then after cost of goods sold 4,60,000 minus cost of goods sold given 3,16,000, so the gross profit is 1,52,000. We calculated gross profit 1,52,000. Then after less operating expense and under operating expenses salary, these are given 45, and this the sum is 91,000. Sum is 91,000. Sum is 91,000. And similarly, advertisement expense carries outward and sales discount 8,000, and the sum is 31,000. And 31,000 sum A plus B, 31,000, this is 1,22,000, right? This is 1,22,000. 91,000 plus 31,000, it is 1,22,000. This is operating income. We calculated, sorry, total operating expenses. This is total operating expense. Total operating expense. Did you finish? Did you calculate total operating expense 1,22,000? Did you calculate total operating expense 1,22,000?
हजुर ठीक छ 1,22,000 हुन्छ
1,22,000, eh?
हजुर सर
Finished? Up to this finish? Salary, registration, utility expense, depreciation expense, insurance expense, selling and distribution expense include selling and expense. Under this, there are three expense heading under selling and distribution. And sum of A and B are general expense, and selling and distribution is total operating expense. Then what we calculate after this? त्यसपछि के निकाल्नु पर्छ ल भन्नु त? We calculated total operating expense. After this, we should deduct.
सर यो सेल डिस्काउन्टलाई हामी सेल्स रेभेन्यूबाट पनि घटाउन सक्छौँ हैन सर?
But better to deduct in the selling, because it is the discount or loss given or discount given at the time of selling of goods. सामान बेच्दा दिएको हुनाले it is a kind of expenses for selling and distribution. किन यो त हामीले सर्भिस दिएर त्यतिखेर गरेको डिस्काउन्ट हो. So better to include in selling and distribution. गर्न त इन्टरनेसनल प्र्याक्टिस चाहिँ सेल्स डिस्काउन्ट भनेर माथि ग्रस सेल्स माइनस रिटर्न माइनस सेल्स डिस्काउन्ट एन्ड अलाउन्स भनेर घटाइन्छ पाइन्छ तर बेटर टु डिडक्ट अन्डर द सेलिङ एन्ड डिस्ट्रिब्युसन सेलिङ एन्ड डिस्ट्रिब्युसनबाट घटाइन्छ हजुर
सर डिप्रिसिएसन एक्सपेन्सेस कसरी चाहिँ अपरेटिङ एक्सपेन्सेस हुन्छ एकचोटि भनिदिनुहोस् न नन अपरेटिङ हुँदैन
it is non-cash. You are confused regarding the you are confused from you studied in the CVP analysis. Operating non-cash expenses. Depreciation is operating. It is our expenses produced. This expense is produced from the day-to-day operations of business activities from the use of assets. Assets use गर्दाखेरि तपाईले asset किन use गर्नुहुन्छ business operation मा बिजनेसलाई डे टु डे अपरेसन गर्नलाई एसेट्स युज गर्नुहुन्छ लङ टर्म बेनिफिटको लागि एन्ड लङ टर्म बेनिफिट मध्येबाट 1 इयरको मात्र डेप्रिसिएसन तपाईले चार्ज गर्दै हुनुहुन्छ भनेपछि त त्यो त बिजनेस अपरेसनमा एसेट्स युज हुन्छ त्यही बिजनेस अपरेसनको एक्सपेन्स हो नि त यो डेप्रिसिएसन भनेको त only it is non cash but it is operating. Okay, now after that we calculate the operating income or income from operation. How it is calculated? कसरी आउँछ र यो भनिदिनुहोस् त हाउ इट इज क्याल्कुलेटेड operating income from operation or operating income first 30,000 which I have done here from where it is calculated gross profit minus operating expenses. Yes, 1 lakh is the total operating expenses 22,000 so it is 1 lakh sorry it is 30,000 यसरी 30,000 आउने हो है त ल 30,000 is the operating profit or income from the operation 30,000 rupees. Then we add other revenues and expenses which include interest revenue and gain on sale of assets. We already discussed there are two other incomes, gain on sale of assets, interest revenue. Then we add this 3,600 here. Then after we deduct less other expenses and losses or non-operating expense or losses which include interest and loss on disposal of assets. There are two other incomes, two other expenses in this question. So we deduct this one. So 30,000 plus 3,600 because it is add, it is income, or you can write just below the 3,600 for the sum, or you can directly calculate 30,000, 3,600 minus 2,000, then it is 31,600. It is net income before tax, and the 10,100 is the tax amount given. So less income tax expense. Sometimes you will be given the amount of expense, tax expense. Sometimes will be the given percentage or amount is given. If amount is given, it is easy, you deduct. If percent is given, it is also easy, but we need to calculate. Then in this way, net income or net income after tax is calculated. Finish? To recalculate net income after tax? And same question you practice at your home first. यो दुईटा सिंगल स्टेप मल्टी स्टेप का यी दुईटा क्वेशनहरुलाई प्र्याक्टिस गर्नुस् अनि त्यसपछि तपाईलाई गाह्रो हुँदैन किनभने मोस्ट अफ द पोइन्ट्स आर इन्क्लुडेड इन दिस टु एक्जाम्पल्स. If you finish, please don't forget to inform me, sir. We finish now. Move forward.
हजुरले पठाइदिनुहुन्छ अहिले सबै?
अहिले तत्काल त मेरो क्लास छ अनि त्यही भएर बिर्सिन्छु कि भनेर अनि त्यही भएर हो। यसको कि अघिल्लोको थ्योरीको
यो आजको क्लासको सर?
क्लासको
थ्योरीको पनि बाँकी छ क्या हो सर? एकाउन्ट त कुनै छैन स्लाइडहरु आएको।
एकाउन्टको छ, फर्स्ट च्याप्टरको पठाइसके हो, यो सेकेन्डको होला। आफ्नै सेक्सनको फाइलमा गएर हेर्नुस् त, त्यहाँ छ, मैले अपलोड गरिदिएको छु। यो सेकेन्डको
सर हामीले बुक चाहिँ अस्मिता पब्लिकेसन भन्नुभएको थियो है?
हो, अस्मिता पब्लिकेसनकै क्वेसन गर्दैछु है म। सो आइजुन अब ल ना क्वेसन क्लास वर्क प्रब्लम 2.2 पेज 61 एन्ड होम असाइनमेन्ट 2.3 यो नबिर्सिनु है। 2.3 2.4 गर्ने, फोटो खिच्ने अनि असाइनमेन्टबाट है। यु प्लिज सेन्ड फ्रम योर असाइनमेन्ट, नट फ्रम च्याट। च्याटबाट पनि पठाउनु मिल्छ तर च्याटबाट नपठाउनु होला, किन रेकर्ड छुट्छ नि फेरि पछि। यु सेन्ड योर असाइनमेन्ट फ्रम असाइनमेन्ट। थाहा छ नि होइन कसरी पठाउने भन्ने त?
हेलो सर।
हजुर।
अनि यो असाइनमेन्ट दिनुभयो नि 2.3 2.4 मा त यो हामीले मल्टी स्टेप मात्र गर्ने होला नि त? 2 नम्बरमा रिटर्न अर्निङ पनि भनेको नि
हैन। हामीले मैले के भने, इफ यु आर गिवन प्रिपेयर सिंगल स्टेप इन्कम स्टेटमेन्ट, एट दैट only you follow single step. Otherwise, if you are asked prepare income statement only or multi-step income, at that time you should follow the multi-step income statement. That is the common practice in the business world. Single step practice ma छैन। त्यो सानो स्टोर यो पसलेहरूले पो युज गर्न सक्छन् भनेर हामीले त्यो सिम्पल पढेको हो त। But we are studying the company's financial statement. Therefore, company should prepare the multi-step financial statement. So you should also draw the format, prepare the format of income statement in the multi-step format. Multi-step नै गर्ने हो। हामी त एक्जाममा नि त्यसरी गर्ने भए त्यो तरिकाले गर्नु पर्यो। If you are asked single step भनेर स्पेसिफाई गर्यो नि मात्र, but it will not be specified. मैले त एक्जाम्पल 1 त तपाईलाई सिंगल स्टेप पढाएको थिएँ र पो सिंगल स्टेप सिकाइदिएको हो त।
मैले त्यो भने हैन के सर, क्वेशनमा चाहिँ नि मल्टी स्टेप इन्कम स्टेटमेन्ट बना भनेको रिक्वायर्डमा 1 मा 2 मा स्टेटमेन्ट अफ रिटर्न अर्निङ पनि भनेको छ। हामीले मल्टी स्टेप मात्र बनाएर पठाउने हो अहिले भनेको।
के हैन, तपाईलाई त 1 हप्ता 10 दिन भित्र पठाउनु न। अहिले के हतार भएर अहिले हामी त मल्टी स्टेप, हाम्रो नेक्स्ट क्लासमा त हामी रिटर्न अर्निङ पढिहाल्छौँ नि, आज पो भ्याउँदैन त। तपाईले होमवर्क गर्ने अनि तपाई गर्न त मल्टी स्टेप गरिराख्नुस् कि, अनि रिटर्न अर्निङको त तपाई हाम्रो अर्को नेक्स्ट क्लासमा त हामी रिटर्न अर्निङ पढिहाल्छौँ नि। रिटर्न अर्निङ त 5 मिनेटको कुरा हो, त्यसै नहातिनु। होमवर्क बुझाउनु मल्टी स्टेप त पढिहाल्छौँ नि हामी रिटर्न अर्निङ। तपाई 10 दिन 15 होमवर्क बुझाइराख्नु न, के प्रब्लम भएन अहिले। ल
अनि सर
हजुर,
मसँग चाहिँ अस्मिता पब्लिकेसनको बुक छैन है, अनि ड्रिमल्यान्ड पब्लिकेसनको चाहिँ त्यसबाट गर्दा पनि हुन्छ कि के गर्नु सर?
होमवर्क त त्यसबाट पठाए नि केही भएन, तर मलाई क्वेसन नि पठाउनु पर्यो नि त। त्यस्तो हुँदाखेरि त फेरि क्वेसन हेर्नु पर्यो नि त।
त्यही त, अस्मिता पब्लिकेसनको बुक छैन, यही बुकको क्वेसनहरु गरेर पठाउँदा हुन्छ?
मसँग पनि छैन सर, त्यही ड्रिमल्यान्डकै छ सर। मसँग त बुकै
छैन है। बुक बजारमा छ, नहातिनुहोस् अहिले पढ्न। अहिले तपाईँ यस्तो
सर, यो हिसाबको बुकमा चाहिँ सर एकरूपता ल्याउनु पर्छ, नभए गाह्रो हुन्छ सर। सबैले एउटै बुक किनौँ भनेर गर्नु पर्छ सर।
ए हुन्छ होइन, अहिले त यो सिम्पल केस छ जुन फलो गर्दा नि भयो। जब क्यास फ्लोमा पुग्छौँ हामी, रेसियो एनालाइसिसमा पुग्छौँ, जुन एनालाइटिकल केसमा पुगेपछि तपाईँ केस स्टडी गर्ने होला ड्रिमल्यान्डमा गएर तपाईँ सक्नुहुन्न। आखिर किन्न त परिहाल्छ पछि। त्यही भएर अहिले चाहिँ तत्काललाई चाहिँ उहाँहरूले प्र्याक्टिस गर्नलाई किन दुःख हुन्छ, अहिले नपाइएको होला अथवा बजारमा जान नसके होला, त्यही भएर भनिदिइराखेँ मैले। अब तपाईँले भने ठिक हो, युनिफर्मिटी नै, त्यही युनिफर्मिटीको लागि नै त भनिदिँदै हो नि बुक त पहिल्यै। त्यसैले हामी पछि क्यास फ्लो पढ्दा त हामी त क्यास फ्लोहरू अनि तपाईँ इन्भेस्टमेन्ट डिसिजनहरू पढ्दाखेरि तपाईँ ड्रिमल्यान्डमा पढ्ने, अर्को साथी यता क्लास अर्कोबाट गर्ने सम्भवै हुँदैन नि। त्यतिखेर त एउटै चाहिहाल्छ। अहिले तत्काललाई अहिले लकडाउन भएको बेला यस्तो समयमा घरबाट निस्किनु बुक किन्न जानुहोस् भन्न त हामीले मिल्दैन नि त। त्यही भएर ल हेर्नुहोस् है, कलेज त 10 गते त नखुल्ला।
होइन लाइब्रेरीहरू भन्न खोजेको
ए लाइब्रेरी त खोलिरहेको छ क्यारे
त्यही सोधेको सर
खुलेको छ त्यो चाहिँ दिउँसो 11 बजे पछाडि खोलिरहेको छ 2 बजेसम्म हो कि 3 बजेसम्म खुलेको छ
यो सेमिस्टर त अनलाइनमै गर्ने भन्ने सुनिरहेको थिएँ मैले त
होइन अनलाइन त अब तपाईँ यस्तो हो नि त अब दसैँ तिहार बिदा भएपछि आउने बेलासम्म त अनि कोरोना घटेर होइन तपाईँ केयर गरेर हुने स्थितिमा पुग्यो भने होला पनि नि त क्लास त दसैँपछि होला तिहार पछाडि होला अथवा माघतिर होला त्यो त पछिको कुरा हो
सर तिहार पछाडि एक्जाम हुन्छ भन्ने सुनेको थिएँ सर अलिक लाग्दैन नि होइन तिहार पछाडि एक्जाम हुन्छ अरे भन्ने होला सुनेको थिएँ कि
कस्तो
यो फर्स्ट सेमिस्टर सर